Hello, and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia.
I'm Sherry.
So let's start with our pest check-in. Sherry Ann, will you start first?
Yes. So physically, I am 6.75 and rising. Emotionally, 8.7. Spirit, 9.3. Hope is a 9.125. And my word is joyful.
Oh.
How about you?
Physically, I'm a 6.5. Emotionally, I am an 8.5. Spiritually, I am a 7.25. And hope is an 8 point, no. It's a 9.25. And my word is content but tired.
Ooh, that tired word. It's
Yeah.
such a it's a it's a constant before, during, and after a cancer journey.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I didn't want to say just tired because I feel so much more than that, but there's that layer of just like sleepy fogginess that's not just sleepiness or not even just exhaustion. Um it's just this like heaviness, right? This sluggishness, um, which totally brings us to our topic today, which is seasons of change, and as we ebb and flow from one phase to the next of our lives, um, happy, sad, joyful, um, it can still have a draining effect on your energy. Like I don't feel like I'm in a particularly negative space with this tiredness, but I'm I am quite exhausted, but I'm feeling good about the things that are coming and still have excitement within me. I'm just like I'm tired, and I could see how that is exactly reflected on a cancer journey.
Right? And what I'm getting from you is this physical tired. I mean,
Mhm.
my physical number was low too, and I'm equally feeling the physical tiredness, and yet all my other numbers are up. So like
Mhm.
the inner part of me is up. And so really the reason why I love PES so much is that it gives us a chance to see what resources are here within us. I know we've talked about PES already, but I just want to relate this to the physical tiredness versus the emotional or mental tiredness or spiritual tiredness,
Mhm.
because we could have any one of those.
Mhm.
But this, I'm noticing with you and me today, is a physical tiredness, and that
Yeah.
we can lean into our resources of our spirit and that aliveness, or the level of our hope, which I'm going to equate to mindset right now too, to support that physical tiredness. And then really checking in with our emotions. I mean, if my joyful can help me, I don't want everything to be balanced. I just want it to be like available so that I'm not just taken completely down with my physical. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can still show up today in joyfulness and delight, and be completely aware that my body feels tired.
Yeah, like my inner energy is buzzing. I have like creative energy going inside of me, ideas like work ideas, and I'm jotting them down, but I'm also so acutely aware of this like just exhaustion. And it's not for anything negative that happened and not for and even if it was, I still have this buzz inside of me, but I don't need it to propel and push what doesn't need pushing right now. Like I'm recognizing that I need like this space to just like take it a little bit more easy and still have all of those things buzzing in me. I don't need to do, which I have activator in my top 10, as I know you do too, which really easily makes us want to start new projects, and that excitement and that buzz, like, let's do something, let's do something. But I'm really noticing that that's not going to serve me right now, and it's going to honestly lead to burning me out a little bit. So, um, without it being a bad thing, it's like, what's the bare minimum I can do today to still feel accomplished, to still like acknowledge everything within me that needs to be acknowledged, and the space that I need, maybe even something I put off before in lieu of something that was more energizing, like, okay, maybe we put away the dishes now. Like things that are just like, will make me feel better. It's super quick, but like, what can I do in this moment that's gonna fuel me without draining me?
Right, right. And I'm really hearing you and your strengths. I know you have achiever in your top 10.
Hmm.
So what that says to me is that you get up every day and you kind of like check things off. I mean, that is what achievers like to do.
Hmm.
Like
We
they're
love a
that
checklist.
to accomplish something feels good. And so yes, you're right. And hopefully putting the dishes away can be that check mark, but you don't have to have 10 check marks today. It's like knowing what's going to serve you and support you in this
Mhm.
moment, and being so aware of the mental health, and mental
Mhm.
health being, what does my mind need? And when I say mind, it's that, um, oh, I don't even know if I can explain this. It's like, what is the situation and the environment I need? And it's so
Mhm.
much more than just the physical. It's like, I need to allow myself spaciousness, but it could be quiet. I'm just really curious. What does your mind need in this space where you are right now?
Yeah. Well, I love that you relay this to my achiever, because that checklist, it still exists. I do have a literal checklist, but kind of how I'm approaching today is like, everything that I'm doing now is preparing the checklist for tomorrow. It's going to make tomorrow's checklist a little bit easier as well, while really satiating the need to be a little bit slower, a little bit softer today. And I think you're right with the mental being, um, like, if my mental state is not currently healthy, then anything I do physically outside of it, because it needs to come from that mental state. And if my physical state's like, no, I need to push and I need to do, they're not in alignment. They're not in service of each other. Um, so what do I need today? What do I need? Just the slowness, and just the acknowledgement of things without having to do them. Like, okay, I noticed that, you know, this space is a little bit messy. Well, when can I do that? Not, it's not going to be today. Maybe we'll plan for it. It's not going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow I have a busier day. So like, let's save that for this day. Or like, oh, I'm noticing that um I can do the laundry today, and then it'll serve me later on throughout the week. Or um things like that, that are like small, but they're a little more tasky, but because they're also so like consistent, it's like, it's mindless. It's not like, okay, let's create something out of nothing now. Let's attack a really hard project that I don't know how it's gonna go. I've been sitting in the mentality of being okay with trying and failing with things, and today is not the day for that with our projects. Like, that's a really great mentality that I've been having. Today is not the day for that. Today's for things I know I can accomplish and I know how they go, things that feel really comfortable and easy, rather than like, let's try new things and make something
Right.
out of nothing.
Right. So I'm really getting a sense of spirit needing to be filled, or satiated, or fed. That's the word I was looking for, fed. So what in today, the slow day for you, and then I'm going to relate this back to the cancer journey and the cancer individual.
Mhm.
What can you do today to support and to feed your spirit?
Taking my time, which is something that is not typically an Alicia thing. I am a very fast moving person, but like I feel this sluggishness that needs to be acknowledged. So I need to slow down and I need to find moments of pure pause. And I think that like even taking time to journal, which is something sometimes I don't feel like I have time to do, or just like jot down what's going on in my head without having to do anything about it would serve me a lot today.
Wow. I just love how you just took a pause to consider you,
Hmm.
not the task, not the things that need to be done, but you. And I do think that oftentimes when we're tired, that our soul isn't being fed, and there is a little bit of a conflict or a fight between our our mental and our spirit. Body being wherever it is, it body kind of informs everything, as does emotion. So I take both of those as messengers,
Hmm.
and I really look at the when you said my mentality, I'm like, oh, okay, there's that, and then there's that spirit, that spirit of you, and I really felt like they were kind of a little off dance
Hmm.
versus you took that pause, you gave yourself a moment in this moment to just really reflect and think about it. And I noticed your pace is slower, your voice is slower. I could feel that. And then I could feel your spirit just kind of like kind of that
Yeah.
sigh.
Yeah, and it's
And how go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna say that it's while I'm getting to acknowledge that slowness within me and give that space, I'm also noticing that it's coming because I'm also acknowledging like changes in the air and those shifts, and instead of trying to like beat them to the punch like, oh, I know what's changing now, I'm gonna change, I'm allowing myself to kind of like slowly roll down the hill with it and let it and absorb what's coming and what's new here, in this new phase. And that new phase being, a lot of different things. It's a very it's very like uh ethereal in a sense, because it's not like anything's exactly changing. I'm not like changing jobs all of a sudden or moving houses, which are kind of big uprooting things. It's like right now there's a change of seasons going on and a change of pace that's outside, and in the people that interact with, like things are changing and we're all kind of rolling along with it. And I think that's where some of this like desire to acknowledge the slowness is coming from as well.
Hmm. Right. It's almost like slowness to kind of gather up and see what's really happening versus
Mhm.
jumping ahead and going, okay, things are changing. Let me go, go, go. And now my to-do list becomes bigger and more demanding because change is afoot.
Mhm.
And I think I'm going to relate this to the cancer journey is that when we're in the different phases of the cancer journey roadmap. And I'm thinking particularly like the change from initiation into the pit and then
Mhm.
the pit into allies. Those are significant moments of change as you're exiting one phase on stage into the other. And I'm going to use your analogy as the seasons. Um, that there is I've got to amp up or get myself ready for this, and then there's this, all of a sudden when you're into treatment it just slows down and you're like, oh, but I'm used to getting things done. Just, I'm using you as the analogy as what you said
Mhm.
before. It's like treatment is here, don't I have to get moving and doing things and accomplishing stuff, but really you don't. And so all
Mhm.
of a sudden it's like this, and you're like, uh-oh, what am I? I'm not being how I normally am.
Mhm.
So what do I do? And one of the things I hear often is, I really need to take a nap, Sherry Ann. And I go, okay, take a nap. But it's not that easy, right? Because you're changing. You're coming from, I'm used to getting things done and being the doer and making a difference and all of that. And all of a sudden you're in this new space that needs you to slow down, to take the nap, to take the pause. And so, I mean, I find myself giving like permission of, yes, you can take that 2.5 hour nap, because they can't do it for themselves, because they're still doing it in the same pace. And yet
Mhm.
what everything around them is screaming, no, we're tired.
Oh, so I had a little aha as you were talking that well, I think I've said this before, but our culture is very much has told us that, you know, you're only as good as your productivity. And so there is this like um deep push within all of us to do. And what my aha was that it's not just change, it's growth. And
Mm.
growth requires a lot less energy than we think it does. I mean, there are times when you put in energy, you literally watch something grow, and there's a bit of a push to that, right? And there's a lot more satisfaction to people because they feel like they can see what changes within that growth when they're so deeply invested in every single step of the way. But like plants, to pause and trust that like the growth and change are going to happen are just as important. And sometimes when we feel depleted, we think that there's something wrong, but really that energy that we've had to do, that energy within you is being shifted into something else, and maybe it's not quite as tangible as you're used to in seeing that growth, but it's still happening.
Done.
Yeah, like that growth, it continues to happen regardless of how much we're pushing or not.
Right. And there is a season for quiet, for
Mhm.
pause, for going in. And I know the winter season for sure is about hibernation, right? I mean, if we look at nature and animals and plants, it's like this is their winter,
Mhm.
where they really get to take that long pause that allows them to go in and do that work. And as
Yeah.
human beings and the society that you're talking about and the environment that we've all created, we don't ever get that pause. It just
It-
goes faster when the holidays come on and it's like, wow, what's happening? It's winter.
yeah. And even this like obviously not everyone is has summer off. It tends to be just kids, but also like, families are impacted by that and just the idea of having that summer break, right? And so some of that going away, going back into work and being asked to ramp up sometimes with our work, it's like it feels so at odds with what is going on around us, or maybe even what our body innately wants in that moment. So yeah, this is me acknowledging that there's change and growth. I don't know what that looks like next. And I think it actually serves me a lot better to not try to find out and just embrace what comes next with, collecting my resources and having them ready for when I do have to like jump into something. But for now, I have the resources and I can let them recharge a little bit while I figure out what this next phase feels like and what I'm going to need for it instead of making the
Right.
assumption that I know.
Thank you. Because what you just said was, I know I'm on a path. I know that things are changing. I mean, what is the thing? The thing we can be assured of are taxes and change and death. So the three things. But let's just talk about change. That it's inevitable. We
Yeah.
can't stop it. I mean, the cancer journey is a journey of change. It
Mhm.
just is. We can't go back, even though we're going to wish at some point on the journey that we could. It's like, can't things just be normal again? No, because normal is gone, just like the past is gone. We can only keep moving forward, and that is about change. And it's not We're not a train. It's not like chug, 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 chug. It is where ebb and flow. And what I really love about this conversation right now is that we're ebbing. We're ebbing. It's like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. I can stay in that mystery place of the unknown, but I can, like you just said, I can take care of me, whatever I need, whether it is physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, to support those areas of me so that I'm ready
Yeah.
and really listening in. My body's tired. My spirit is a little bit tired, even though I don't want to admit it, but it is.
Yeah. And it's hard to acknowledge and relinquish that control and that desire to know what's coming next and be like super prepared and like um be like, well, I've experienced it before. I know it's going to be like again. I mean, obviously, the change of seasons happens every year. It's not a surprise to me. But
And yet it is.
because every year we're a little bit different. What's more normal than growth? What's more normal than change? And I can choose to look back at those times with joy and love for what I had and what was and what existed without feeling like that has to be what it is now.
Yeah, yeah. I think I would love us to try something of kind of a reframe on tired
Hmm.
and think of it not even of the pause, though I really love that word and what that means, but as the rest.
Hmm.
It's like we are resting now, and our bodies are telling us inside and outside, it's time for rest.
Hmm.
And that we just accept that instead of fight against it. It would be such an easier journey if we didn't fight against what is.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I also hear recharge in rest, and what came to mind was, how are we resting and recharging as often as we're recharging our phones or our other devices? Could you imagine if we literally every time we plugged in our phone we rested? Like that to me is like it's more than just sleep, right? And if I'm really fully charging my phone, it's gonna take a while. But if we gave ourselves the opportunity to recharge the way we give our phones the opportunity to recharge, because not all of us are waiting till we're completely depleted in energy. We're waiting
Right.
till it hits a certain mark, maybe, and then you're like, I think I need a recharge. What if we did that for ourselves?
Exactly. Battery's low. That's
Yeah.
so acceptable. I need to go take care of that. Car tank, gas tank is getting low and empty. Okay, let's go refill that. And it's not immediate. It is not a flash in the pan. It takes time. I
Yeah.
so if and while you're listening to us, if you can take this along with us and reframe the tired as, oh, battery's low. I need to give myself some time, space, and rest.
Yeah. It honestly feels like rest to be like, I could be like, I have so much work to do, but even shifting that mentality to, okay, let's focus on something else that like could use my attention, and giving myself rest from that other work thing. That is also a bit of rest for me. Like to end, and there's a lot of trust. There's a lot of trust in there, in myself, in my team, and the people around me, that it's gonna happen. But also, I'm very lucky to work for this company and know that I do have people who are like, yes, take the rest. Because you also know that we don't get our best when we're exhausted. We don't get our absolute best when we're fighting for our lives, just trying to get things
Right.
done. Um, that's not how to get the best out of anyone.
So for today, we're going to encourage everybody to be a cell phone and realize when our battery's low and just go plug ourselves in, whatever that means to you, and recharge. And that means not working. The phone is, I mean, I know we can plug ourselves in and still work on the phone. Let's not do that.
Yeah, it's
Let's
like phone
not.
charging in the other room.
Yes.
Yeah. Sharon, what's your takeaway?
Well, all of this, I mean, this is so enlightening for me. It's like I am just so much more aware that tired is in service of me,
Hmm.
that it isn't to stop me from being productive or trying to take anything away from me. It's about and for me. So
Hmm.
that's my takeaway. And my word is recharge. How about you?
My takeaway is that growth and change can feel really visceral. And like you said, it feels like there's something being taken away a little bit from me. But I know that's not what it is. It's not. It's feelings are messengers. And the message is
So
really
true.
like I just need to slow down, and it doesn't mean that I'm any less than, or there's something wrong, or that I'm not capable in any way. And it allows me to redirect where I do put my energy. And that clarity gives me the tools to then communicate that with the people that I need to. Um, and my word is growth. Well, thank you for
Hmm.
tuning in, everyone. We release new episodes every Friday, so we will see you next week.
Bye for now.